TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your mower off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about the Saints' keys to victory. How can the Saints go up to Foxborough, Massachusetts, and knock off the New England Patriots, a place where the New England Patriots play quite well? The Saints are the underdog going into this game, so we're going to be talking about some of the things the Saints would have to do in order for them to get the victory against the Patriots. But thank you to everybody that is in the chat right now. Thank you for everybody that's watching this live or wherever you're watching it, no matter if it's morning, noon, night. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I'm recording this at night on a Thursday night, and oh man, this was a rough week, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Ever since I was a kid, when the Saints lose, it affects my week. I don't know what it is, man. I just can't help it. It's almost like when you lived in a city, growing up in New Orleans. Your mood was dictated on Saints victories and Saints losses, and this has been a rough week. And the only thing I've been thinking about is getting that bad taste out of my mouth of what I seen versus Carolina, which it doesn't seem like it's that bad because looking at the score on Thursday Night Football, it looks as if the Carolina Panthers are the real deal. They got a lead right now, 14-6. As I'm speaking right now, and it looks like they're about to score again. Looks like they're about to go about 21-6 over the Houston Texans. So I think it's safe to say that the Carolina Panthers are for real, and the Saints are going to have to they're going to have to stay at pace, with the Carolina Panthers, because these guys defensively are looking real good. They lost Christian McCaffrey early in the game. It looked like it was a hamstring issue, but the New Orleans Saints are going to have to find some ways to win some of these games. But a good thing about spots in the playoffs is not 6 anymore, so there's still a chance that the Saints, can be there in the end if Tampa still looks good as well as Carolina. But in order for the Saints to even get to that point, they got to start winning some games, and you only can win the next game, and that is the game against the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots coming off a victory where they just absolutely dominated the Jets. Zach Wilson threw 4 interceptions in this game. I mean, he was giving them away like Oprah Winfrey. You get a pick, you get a pick, you get a pick. And we all know that the New England Patriots are a good football team. We all know that they're well coached, well disciplined. They make very little mistakes. And, you know, Bill Belichick is a coaching genius when it comes to defense. He will take away the thing that you do best. And I've been thinking about this all week about how the Saints can pull off this victory. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I'm not going to do my prediction right now. I'm going to wait for a couple of days to do that. But I feel like the Saints are in better shape to win this game than they did versus Carolina. I just think that the Saints going into Carolina, they were on an all-time high. They felt, you know, pretty much undefeated because they were undefeated at the time. And knocking off a great quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and a great team like the Green Bay Packers, you went up in there and you felt like the team that you played against week 1 was better than the team that you played week 2. And I feel like they kind of underestimated Carolina. And if you add on some of the issues that the Saints had to deal with, that's tough for any team. You know, I think I was listening to somebody, you know, talk about, you know, all these different coaches and how important these coaches are on the sidelines in order for them to make these type of adjustments in order for offenses and defenses respectively can be able to, you know, have an effective game plan throughout the game. And when you have other coaches that's focused on one thing and then they have to go over here and look at another thing and then they got to focus on this, it's kind of hard for a team to deal with that. One issue that the Saints said they had to clean up was the communication. I don't think it's a shock to anybody in the Who Dat Nation that the communication last week was just god awful. The offensive line was probably the worst I've ever seen the Saints offensive line ever. We all know when it comes to offense, I mean, it was pedestrian to say the least. The Saints, as of right now, they're ranked 32nd in the league, dead last in offense. And that's something that you probably never thought that you would hear in a Sean Payton's offense. But what the Saints need to do in order for them to get that victory over the New England Patriots is very, very simple. They're going to have to utilize Taysom Hill, and they're going to have to use Deontay Harris. I look no further than the game that I seen them play versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last season on Sunday Night Football. You've seen Taysom Hill being fully involved in the game as the Swiss Army knife, and you've seen Deontay Harris, you know, lined up with jet sweeps, wide receiver screens, and, you know what I'm saying, just getting him out there, you know, matched up, you know, for him to be able to, you know, win those matchups in space. I think that these two guys are going to have to be effective. Another thing I feel like the Saints need to do, and I think the Saints need to maybe focus on trying to turn their offense into something like a 3 running back set. You know, I think the Saints need to be more effective in a running game because at this stage, I'm just not a believer that Jameis Winston can lead your team to victory. And I definitely don't believe that the Saints can play from behind. Now, some people out there, you know, feel like, you know, Jameis Winston is a good quarterback. Jameis Winston can make all the throws he can. But I just don't feel like he's at this stage in his young Saints career. As far as knowing the offense, understanding different concepts, and understanding the playbook in order for him to be able to, you know, come back on a team when they're down. And I know the New England Patriots are going to try to jump on the Saints early so they can count on Jameis Winston to try to make some plays that can fall into the hands of their defense of New England. But the Saints are going to have to run the football, man. And I'm not saying that you have to make Jameis Winston anemic or you got to make him, you know, not throw the football, but you have to be able to run the football in order to play towards his strengths, which is the play action game. When I look at Jameis Winston, you know, I think the Saints need to use him like San Francisco used Jimmy Garoppolo or how Tennessee uses Ryan Tannehill. I think that he needs to be on that level. And none of those guys are bad, you know what I'm saying, when the defense is clicking. I just feel like, you know, they're not one of those guys that can just take a team and put it on their back and win a game. I just think that you have to have certain things going for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, that's the reason why we cheer and revere some of these great quarterbacks like a Patrick Mahomes. He can erase a deficit like that. Aaron Rodgers, who can erase a deficit like that. Tom Brady, same way. And Drew Brees when he was here. But everybody's not, you know, everybody's not like that, you know. And until those quarterbacks actually get to that particular point where they understand the offense and they can, read different defenses. You got to put a team around them. And, you have to have a team around Jameis Winston for him to be effective. But I definitely feel like they need to use Deontay Harris. I don't know why they don't try to use him in a different variety of ways. I don't know why they don't try to use use his ability and his elusiveness, what I'm saying, in space and have him going vertical. I just don't understand like why they don't try to do these type of things. And I definitely don't understand why they don't try to run the football as effective up the middle. Watching the game this past weekend, it was a lot of stretch plays and halfback tosses, and I get it, right? Because you had Throckmorton out there, what I'm saying, he was a guard, and then you had Andrews Pete, and you had Cesar Ruiz playing center. So the Saints probably thought that running up the gut, Carolina would be effective, but I think the Saints struggle when they go up against athletic linebackers. And I feel like this is one of those games where, I feel like Alvin Kamara can win a matchup. I feel like Deontay Harris, you line him up in the slot, can win a matchup. I feel like Taysom Hill, if you get him involved, he can win a matchup. I think that the tight ends can win their matchups. This got to be a tight end, and the Saints are going to have to get kind of innovative in order for them to try to win this football game. But if they don't, then I just feel like they're gonna fall behind. And when that New England crowd starts to get into it, it's like a buzzsaw. They definitely got to do that. Defensively, you got some guys coming back. You got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who had a full practice. Lattimore, what I'm saying, he was at practice. So Tano Passanio, he was at practice. So you're getting some guys defensively back, guys that were very key to the win versus the Green Bay Packers. And when you have guys of that importance coming back, then it makes the team much better. So the Saints defense had got to get pressure on Mac Jones. Mac Jones is extremely efficient. He's a guy that understands different defenses to be so young. And, I also think that he has a great security blanket in James White, a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield and also just do some different things. And I also feel that they have some really good tight ends. And last week, we seen, man, the tight ends, really get involved in the game versus Carolina. What I'm saying? We seen that. And Dan Arnold was out there acting like he was Rob Gronkowski or something like that. So the linebackers of the New Orleans Saints are susceptible to getting beat. So I feel like that falls into the hands of a Jonnu Smith and it falls into the hands of a Hunter Henry. So the linebackers have got to play better if they're going to get this victory and they're going to be effective defensively. Also, I'm looking for some people to make an impact. Cam Jordan, Cam Jordan has been, good in the running game, but he hasn't really gotten to the quarterback. He doesn't have a sack, and a lot of these young guys are the ones that's getting pressure on the quarterback, and a lot of people are asking the question, is Cam Jordan time up? Should the Saints think about possibly moving on after this season? I think it's a little bit too early to talk about Cam Jordan in that regard, but I would love to see something from him as far as him getting pressure on the quarterback. I don't think New England's offensive line is just as strong. And, what I'm saying, just, like they just a wall or a great wall that they can't penetrate. So those are the things that I'm looking for in this game. But, I don't look toward the wide receivers to make any type of impact. I said on the last edition of the State of the Saints podcast, I feel that these wide receivers are who we think they are. These are some guys that are some role players. Okay. They're not the LeBrons, the Zions. What I'm saying? They're not going to take over a game. They're the role players. They're the guys that you throw the ball out to, they'll shoot a three. What I'm saying? When you need a three, what I'm saying? In order for the other team to call a timeout. These are role players. These aren't guys that's going to, be all pros in my opinion. What I'm saying? Except for Deontay Harris when it comes to special teams. But these aren't the guys that I feel like are going to get you where you need to be. They probably can get you some catches, maybe the mood to change, but the Saints are going to have to get creative offensively in order for them to be effective against New England. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much to the people in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments just to get started and see what you all have to say. What do you think the keys to victory are, the Saints versus the New England Patriots, this week 3 matchup? I'm going to start with Kim. Kim says playoffs, etc. is way too early to talk about. In week 3, a team can go 5-0 early and fall the rest of the games. This is a long season, and division stands are going go up and down all season. Yeah, Kim, I mean that's true, but when you're looking at teams, you see little nuances of what that team can actually be. I look at the Carolina Panthers and what I see and how they're structured. I mean, they will have to have some significant injuries on both sides of the ball in order for them not to be there in the end. You know what I'm saying? I think Christian McCaffrey, if he's not playing, that's a huge loss. But Sam Darnold is proven that, at best, what I'm saying, he can be a serviceable quarterback, and he has been doing that this season. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't done things that can get the team beat. And I think that, offensively, they got some weapons on that team, man, that can move the chains and also just be one of those teams in the end. And I'm not saying that they're going to win the division, and I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. But what I'm saying is you can see like little things about teams where what I'm saying, there's a possibility they can be there in the end. I just think that the way that they're constructed, what I'm saying, I know like last year, I want to say the Chicago Bears, they started off hot and kind of, what I'm saying, fell off. But I just think that this team, they're a really good football team, so I just feel like there's something significant is going to have to happen in order for them not to be there in the end. Let's see. Tyra T. Mama Smacker Smith informed me that she was in a car accident, but she's all right, just shaking up. Well, man, my prayers go out to Tyra. I'm glad that she's okay. I'm glad that that she's not hurt or anything like that, and she's in our prayers, man. I know that's tough. Being in an accident, being in that situation, but I'm glad she's okay. Michael says, good thing New England struggled against the run according to EPA standards, giving up 4.2 a pop. Michael, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't buy into all these analytics and stuff like that. I just feel like boxing, styles make fights. We went into week 2. Everybody was talking about how bad the offensive line was for the Carolina Panthers, and the Saints couldn't even get to Sam Darnold. So I don't really fall into that whole trap about, oh man, they not good up front. I don't buy into that. I just think that, these are prideful teams. One game they might, get slashed and dashed, and then they have their one game where they can be able to stop the run. Hopefully the Saints can go out there and be able to run the football, because last week, it seemed like they didn't even realize they had a running game, but you got to be able to run the football if you're going to be effective. You got to be able to run a football in some of these away games, because you got to keep the clock moving. You want to control the time of a possession, and the best way to do that is to run the football. Let's see. 504 Hot Boy says keyword yet. Slim South 504 says run, first play, stingy defense, successful formula. Yeah, man, I just think that running the football is key in this game. They just got to get the running game going. They got to get the running game going. I'm so glad she's okay. Yeah, absolutely, man. Glad Tyra's okay. You got to keep him clean in the pocket. If we're talking about Jameis, yes, absolutely. You got to keep him clean in the pocket. I said this, man, and I'm just gonna be real, and I just have to come to grips with this, and I think you as a fan have to come to grips with this. Things got to be basically perfect in order for Jameis Winston to really truly be effective, and I just think that it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time, man, and I just think that the way that we look at quarterback play has a lot to do with what we've seen over the last 15 years. We've seen a quarterback, no matter what the situation was, no matter how much adversity the team was going through, we knew for a fact that we were still in the game. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When I seen the Carolina Panthers jumping all over the Saints, I didn't have that same feeling. When I watched games, in the past when Drew Brees was here, the Saints can go down 17-0, 17-3. And I still feel like the Saints going to be there in the end, because I've seen Drew Brees bring this team back. I didn't have that same feeling, and it's not a knock on Jameis or anything like that. I'm just being honest. I didn't see that. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel it, and you know what I'm saying. I just feel like you need that guy that people believe in. I really do. I really feel like you need that guy that can keep everybody focused, you know what I'm saying, and understand that, you know what I'm saying, this is a marathon and not a sprint. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, when you have that guy who plays as if it's a sprint at times, you know what I'm saying, teams, players end up kind of looking at it like, man, can we do this? You know what I'm saying? But if you have that quarterback, you have that player on your team that has that gleam in his eye, so to speak, and you believe that y'all can actually come back, I think that, it plays a huge role. But I just think at this particular stage, I just think things have to be perfect almost, in order for the Saints to win games. I really do, because I don't think that Jameis is too familiar with the offensive playbook as of right now. I think that defensively, you know what I'm saying, like understanding defenses and all that kind of stuff, and the communication is not where it needs to be. But, I mean, it's going to take some time. But to me, I feel like things have to be virtually perfect in order for, the Saints to be effective offensively. I didn't know they were dead last in offense. That's bad. How the hell we scored 38 points in week 1, week 2? Bad. Well, I mean, we were scoring, but it wasn't. I mean, look, Jameis had what, 148 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's not a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't, one of those games where it was a bunch of total yards. It was just, I mean, when you start with good field position, because I mean, Deontay Harris was returning those punts and stuff like that, and kick returns, he was putting the Saints in really good field position. And when you're starting at the 40 and the 41 yard line, I mean, you're not going to get those many yards. So that's the reason why. Hope Pete Warner can play better than Zach Bond in space. Well, I'm hearing a lot of positive things about Pete Warner. Dennis Allen talked about him, talked about how, fast he is. And that's why I feel like the Saints got him, because, he's really good at covering linebackers and running backs. So not linebackers, excuse me, tight ends and running backs. He's really good at that. So, and he's really doing an outstanding job, even though Dennis Allen said he has room to grow, room to improve. I feel like that's what the Saints need. That I think that can stop and prevent the Saints from really reaching their full potential is not having that linebacker that can cover. Having Quan Alexander on the team is beneficial, but I mean, him being hurt and not being available hurts the New Orleans Saints. And I just think that it's hard for a Tiger to change his stripes. Like if you looked at Zach Bond in college, he put his hand on the ground and rushed the quarterback. I look at him and it almost reminds me of Haloi Kakaha. You know what I'm saying? Haloi Kakaha coming out of University of Washington, he led college football in sacks, and then the Saints tried to make him a linebacker that can stand up and chase people, and that just wasn't his game. And he kind of fizzled out. So, I think that Zach Bond, I think he is who he is, until he changes, but I don't see that. Maybe we are last because of the yardage, guys, not points. Yeah, it's because of the yardage. It's not because of the points, man. And like I said, it depends on where you start on the field. Your average field position. It has to be the yards. Yeah, it's not points. We just need to play football and run the ball to set up Jameis for play action. Yeah, and that's the key to me. And I feel like that's how the Saints are going to get where they need to be. That I just feel that way. I look at some of these teams that have a really good running game, and they have that quarterback that can go out there, and make the throws in order for them to sustain drives. If the Saints do that, I think they'll be just fine. Let me see, chat or whatever. She'll give us an update on her condition. Okay, well, that's good to know, man. I'm glad she's okay. We saw the ceiling versus the Packers, so there is promise. Refocus this week, and I think we will play better. Well, there's a lot of adversity that's going on, and people can talk about not making excuses all day, all night, but it's kind of hard to win in these situations that the Saints are in. I just think that people like, oh, don't make excuses, because people don't care. You got to find ways to win. That I understand, but it still don't defeat the fact that these guys are going through some adversity, and and them being away from Louisiana as long as they've been and living out of a suitcase, and right now, I think they traveled to Massachusetts on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, these guys have been moving around a lot, you know what I'm saying, flying different places. You have to find, places for you to practice and all that kind of stuff there. So, I mean, that's a lot of adversity. And then you lose your coaches. But I mean, all in all, I think that the Saints are a good football team. I think that they're really good at making adjustments. I think that they're a solid football team, and I don't think that week 2 is any indication of what this team actually is. And I just think that anybody that feels that way you know, is being a little bit overzealous, and I get it. When you lose and things don't go your way and you see a bad, sorry performance, you're thinking, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Is this how the season is going to be? Is this how our team is going to look? But I'm Saints were missing some key players, man. And it's only a matter of time for that stuff catches up with you. Ghostface says, who that? Giving a shout out to John. Who that 1992? Yeah. In terms of yardage, we are dead last. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that first game, like I said, they had really good field position. Troutman is a disappointment so far. I don't want to say he is a disappointment. I think is the last game he played in week 2, he was a disappointment. The first game he was, I mean, he dropped some passes, but his blocking was pretty good. I mean, I remember a couple of blocks that he actually did, that sprung some decent runs. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's kind of tough. I mean, you had Josh Hill all these years, a solid tight end. The Saints would every now and then get a pass catching tight end, but you had Josh Hill. For the most part, Josh Hill know where you needed to be, and he was a solid blocker as a tight end. And you go from that to a guy who started off as a really good pass catcher and learned and developed as a blocking tight end. I mean, this is his first time really starting, and this is his first opportunity to be a starter as a professional. And I'm pretty sure he's going through a whirlwind of emotions right now, and he's going through the motions. But I really believe in Adam Troutman. I think that he's going to be really good. And it's kind of like how it started last season. He started off a little bit slow. And, as the season progressed, we seen like little improvements in his game. And I feel like it's going to be the same way. What's happening, TJ? I've been checking the injury report and we're getting healthy, man. I'm loving it. Yeah, man. People are talking about, oh, man, the Saints just got to get to 3-3. Me personally, man, I just feel like that's just pure desperation talk. And, I don't think that this team is as bad as people making it out to be. I just think that people, are talking about the loss of Drew Brees, and I get it. I get it, man. But this team is really good defensively. I think that they got a lot of young players, a lot of seasoned veterans, guys that understand, the task at hand, guys that have lost in some heartbreaking fashions together, guys that have grown up as pros together. And I think that this is a really good football team, man. I just think that people, just kind of jump to conclusions. And then you have those impressionable people, those talking heads that get on television and think. And, I just think that they play a huge role in that. I'm looking at this team. I think that this is a solid football team. I'm kind of happy, that they are flying under the radar. I'm happy that people aren't expecting them to do anything because, that doesn't put any type of pressure on you. I feel like when Drew Brees was here, it was always Super Bowl aspirations. To me, it's still Super Bowl aspirations, but it is not like that to everybody. People are expecting the Saints to fall off a cliff. People talking heads have already said it at the beginning of the season that they feel like the Saints are going to fall off. So that they're going to try to continue to push that narrative because they want to be right. They're not going to pay attention to the games. They're not going to pay attention to the good things the Saints have done. They're going to only focus on the negative because, once again, at the beginning of the season, they talked about, the team not being that good. So any opportunity that they can talk about the team not being good, team not doing good things, they're going to amplify that because they want to sound like prophets. I think Jameis is trying too hard and focus on trying to prove the critics wrong instead of focusing on his game and doing what he needs to be done. Drew, I think there's some validity, a little bit of validity behind that, but a part of me believes that this is how Jameis has always been. Like Jameis has always been, one of those guys that have taken it upon himself to, prove he feels like, man, I got to show leadership. And he goes out there and he tries to make something happen. He tries to generate a spark. But sometimes, man, that spark can come in a form of a 5-yard gain. You know what I'm saying? Turning a 1st and 10 into a 2nd and 5, a 2nd and 5 into a 3rd and 1. You know what I'm saying? And then getting the first down. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, it's about sustaining drives. And I just feel like that's something that he has to put in the back of his mind. I said this earlier. You have to understand that football is a marathon and not a sprint. And as long as you go out there and you be consistent and you go out there, trying to make the right plays and checking it down and relying on your defense to go out there to get stops if your offense isn't moving the football, that is what you need. But you have to be able to sustain drives, and you sustain drives by going out there and making the right reads, not just trying to make something happen, not trying to make the game come to you. You know what I'm saying? Not forcing the game, but letting the game come to you, I should say. That is how you become successful. But I do think that, maybe, he hears that kind of stuff. He hears the whispers. I don't know if it plays a huge role, but I definitely feel like he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and he tries to generate, magic, when he feels like, maybe it's one of those days where, hope is lost. In fact, he is not playing good tight end work for us. Yeah, I mean, look, there's room for improvement. I mean, he's young. To me, he's going to get better. I don't want to beat the guy up after 2 weeks. I think that he's going to figure it out. I hope Peyton Turner balls out again. Yeah, me too. I think that you have to be excited and optimistic at what you saw from a guy who didn't play any preseason games, and his very first game came in week 2. His first game as a pro, and he really was disruptive out there. Now, I mean, he did have some penalties. There's some things that he has to clean up, but the fact that you're seeing some things happen with him and him make a little bit of noise, you have to be optimistic about that. We are playing a rookie. Can we rattle him? We'll see. That key to win defense, make some plays. He's still good, Mac Jones. Yeah, Mac Jones is a good quarterback. He's a solid quarterback. He's going to go out there and he's going to do what Bill Belichick tells him to do. He's going to make very little mistakes. He's going to make the right reads. But the Saints have got to find ways to disrupt him and confuse him. So, and it comes in a way of trying to get pressure on him. So I don't know the effectiveness of the offensive line of the New England Patriots, but the Saints are going to have to find ways to get him off his spot, man. That's how you going to beat the New England Patriots. Is Kenny Stills playing this week? I don't know if he's playing or not. I haven't heard anything. Wouldn't surprise me if he did play, because I mean, it couldn't be no worse than what we've seen out of wide receiver group right now. This team will look completely different once we get all our pieces back. We just need to make it to the bye with at least 2 more wins. Well, I like that type of mind frame, but like I said, I just don't feel like this team is as bad as people making it out to be. I just think that you're going up against a divisional rival. They understand you. They caught you, with your pants down, so to speak. They caught you slipping. Like there was a lot of things that worked into the favor of the Carolina Panthers. And I feel like it's going to be a different story the next time the Saints play them. I think that they're going to see a different New Orleans Saints team. They just caught them at the right time, in my opinion. TJ, I honestly think Jameis should throw 15 or 20 attempts per game, and the rest of the snaps should be geared towards the running game. Well, yeah, what I'm saying? I think that's good. I say, 20 to 25. I wouldn't mind seeing them throw the ball 20 to 25 times. I think that should be suffice. But I do think that you need to have an effective running game, for him. The Saints have got to be able to be better at running the football. I hope the refs ain't affecting Foxborough. Lord have mercy. Well, Tom Brady ain't there, so I don't think they're getting that type of treatment. So we might see Pete Warner Sunday. Well, that would be good if we can see him. I'd like to see what he can do. He's a 2nd-round pick, and a lot of people are looking forward to seeing what he can do and bring to the table. The offensive line needs to step up. Yeah, man, that's the one disappointment of the team is the offensive line. These guys have been probably the most, put together and what I'm saying, like they probably have the most camaraderie when it comes to, actual position group. on the team, and you expect to have better communication. And I understand that Cesar Ruiz, he didn't play center in training camp. He didn't take any type of snaps. It was all on Eric McCoy. But at the same time, man, I mean, it was just god awful, man. It was just like guys was just deer in headlights. They ain't know where to block. They ain't know where to go. They were just dazed and confused. It reminded me of somebody that don't study for a test and just walk up in a classroom and teacher put the test on there. You about to fail. And I feel like that's the way the offensive line look. I don't expect for them to look that bad anymore this season. They're a prideful group once again. I expect for them to take it upon themselves and become better. You have to have a level of pride to not be able to, to play as awful as you did, not to want to have a bounce back week. Like, you have to be able to have a bounce back week. If you don't, then I have to question that group. And I just think that that's a good offensive line, man. I feel like they got the best offensive line. The Saints got the best offensive line in football, and I think that they need to prove it. Let's see. I disagree, Drew. Jameis showed week 1 that he's committed to doing this Sean Payton's way, and he's humbled himself to learn the position. Yeah, I mean, look, I think that it was just look, I'm not going to pretend like Jameis Winston don't struggle against the Carolina Panthers. He has. I want to say he's had 9 touchdowns, 16 interceptions in his career versus the Carolina Panthers. So to say that the Carolina Panthers have Jameis Winston number, that would be the understatement of the decade. But I just think that it was just a variety of things. You got to be better at diagnosing defenses. You have to, okay? Offensive line, they have to be better at be able to call out, where the pressures are coming from. Like, you got to be able to do that. If you don't, I don't care who's back there, you're going to struggle. I mean, that's just what it is. You're going to struggle if you don't, have an offensive line that can be able to, call out pressures, and a quarterback that can be able to understand that. What we saw last week is how beneficial guys like Eric McCoy and how beneficial guys like Drew Brees was, because Drew Brees was able to call out those pressures, and to be able to diagnose that and tell those guys where they need to block. You need that type of guy, And Eric McCoy, him not being there is huge, man. So he's going to be going for a couple weeks. So Saints going to have to figure it out. When people ask me about the Saints and how they played, I simply ask them, do you watch football or just the highlights? Yeah, I mean, look, it was just a disaster, man. I just feel like, to me, that was one of them games where I feel like they lost getting off the bus. I mean, it was just one of those days, man. Who that 1992? Can you tell me what quarterback would have had success in that game? Jameis was pressured the third since 2009. He didn't have a chance, and them 2 picks did not dictate the game. Look, you got to be able to make better decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be able to, not turn the ball over. That is very, very important. But I mean, he's not the main reason why the Saints lost. And I just think that, people are entitled to their opinion, but I'm just saying, from my personal assessment, I just feel like people have their reservations about Jameis Winston from the get-go. Like they didn't expect for him to do anything. They don't accept him as the Saints quarterback. They don't feel like he's the future of the New Orleans Saints. So any opportunity they have to be able to, say that he's not it, they're going to say it. And honestly, when he has games like this, it just gives people validation to say, well, I told you so. And I'm going to be honest with you, man. Like, if Jameis Winston comes out and he plays well versus New England, I mean, that's not going to solve the issue. It don't. You know what I'm saying? Look, Jameis Winston's issue has never been his ability to be able to throw the football. He has great arm talent. He has like top 10, top 5 type arm talent. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is his consistency. Like, you have too many, games like you have in week 1, and then turn around and have a game like week 2. In order to get those monkeys off your back, you got to be able to string along some success, man. You got to be able to string along some games consistently. That is how you're going to get people turned around. And that's how you're going to get people believing in you. And that's just the way it goes. People were skeptical about Teddy Bridgewater. I was one of those people. I was skeptical about him, being a starter, as long as Drew Brees was out, but him winning those 5 straight games, it showed people that, hey, the Saints can win with this guy. And Teddy Bridgewater became one of the most beloved players on the Saints team. People still are rooting for Teddy Bridgewater. He hasn't played for the Saints in 2 seasons. So I feel like in order for Jameis Winston to change the narrative and what people think about him, in order for him to change the way that people, perceive him, he has to go out here and he has to sustain levels of success. Like, you got to string off at least about 4 or 5 games where you having more touchdowns than turnovers. And And if you're having turnovers, it can't be to a point where you're just throwing it up there, lofting it in the air, where people can actually show this stuff over and over again and make highlight reels like, oh man, look at this pick right here. Like, you want somebody to be able to jump coverage or something like that. A ball get tipped and it get intercepted. You don't want to throw interceptions and ain't nobody in the vicinity. Like, that kind of stuff right there, they're going to keep on looping that stuff over and over again. So in order for Jameis Winston to change the narrative about what people think about him, he have to string along some victories, man. I'm serious. Like, I can't knock people for having skepticism about him, because when you play like that, against Carolina, and and people see you having success in week 1, I mean, it gives these type of people ammunition to say, man, he's not the guy. Right. Jameis still learning how to be the hero. I mean, not to be the hero. Jameis, you cannot carry a team by yourself. Yeah, like, you can't do that. I don't think anybody can really just do that. You got to have pieces around you in order for you to carry a team. Like, you got to be able to have like a good running game, good wide receivers, good defense. It's a combination of things. You could probably get away with that in basketball. Like, if you have a superior athlete, guy that goes out there, balls out, you'll be able to win some games. I mean, we seen that like in the early 2000s with Allen Iverson, right? Allen Iverson was out there with a warrior mentality, go out there, drop 40, 50 points, had the 76ers in the NBA Finals versus the Lakers. But it don't work like that in football. Football is a team sport. Like, you ain't going nowhere if you don't have all the pieces around you in order for the team to be successful. And I just think that Jameis, plays a lot of hero ball, Like, and that's what leaders do sometimes. Leaders just try to put all the pressure, all that kind of stuff on themselves. And, when people morale is low, when people sulking on the sidelines, feeling like today ain't the day, you want to go out there and make a play. You want to go out there and create a spark so people can be like, man, I think we can do this. And I just think that he get that in his head. Then he goes out there, he tries to make a play, and then, you end up trying to make the situation worse. You can't do that, man. Rome wasn't built in a day. I already read that one. Let me scroll down a little bit more, man. I'm gonna go to who that 1992 say. I understand what you're saying. Our O-line did play like crap, but how much was it Jameis calling protection? We don't think about that, but need to. Yeah, I mean, it have. I'm not going to say he's completely out of the woods, but the offensive line, it's a combination of things. It is a combination of things. Like, you got to have a offensive lineman to be able to, to call out these pressures. You got to. And it has to be like a collaboration between the center and the quarterback. So I think it falls on both of those guys. I really do. But I could say it's just the fact that how they played them, and they confused them. And they disguised, if you go back and watch that game, they disguised a lot of their blitzes, man. So, I mean, this is one of those situations where people have to understand and come to grips and say that, everybody is not Drew Brees. And this is one of the things to me that made Drew Brees special all these years, that, he can cover up a lot of the, a lot of the stench that is, that is taking place in the game. Like the deficiencies, of the team, he can cover that up by being good and being, be able to dissect different things and see things that maybe his offensive line don't even see. A real Saint fan will stand their ground for their quarterback. Y'all did it for Drew. Do it for Jameis. Well, look, the thing about it is, like any quarterback, they got to prove it, man. Like, seriously, look, I like Jameis Winston. I believe in Jameis Winston, but you got to go out there and prove it, man. Like you got to go out there and prove to everybody that you can get it done. I mean, the thing that solves all issues is winning. You know, that's the thing that's going to solve all these issues and playing well. If you're not playing well, if you're not being efficient, if you're not doing the things that you need to do in order for the team to be successful, then people are going to question, are you the leader that this team needs? So once again, in order for him to change this narrative, in order for him to get some of these Saints fans that are on the fence on board, he has to string off some victories. I mean, it's just as simple as that. You got to play consistent, you know? I mean, it's just like with Tannehill. I mean, when Tannehill left Miami, came to Tennessee, I don't think that no Tennessee Titan fan was just all excited, man. We got Ryan Tannehill. Like, man, what? You know what I'm saying? Like, what y'all doing? And I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of Titan fans probably was thinking. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, why y'all getting it? Like, what? Like he was a bust. That's what people probably thought. But now, you know, like people like Ryan Tannehill. You know what I'm saying? He's steady Eddie out there in Tennessee. So, you know, I mean, he helped the Tennessee Titans, you know what I'm saying, to the AFC Championship game. I mean, you had Derrick Henry, of course, but he made some throws too, you know what I'm saying? Especially in that game, I want to say against, if I'm not mistaken, Baltimore. He made some good throws in that game. So you got to be able to have a quarterback that can be able to see the field and dissect plays and look at, you know, things a little bit differently. But Keen Arthur, thank you very much for the $5. Says TJ, props to Carolina, but their fans are acting like they played the Saints of week one again. Props to them, but people make their takes without context. Look, man, I'm not going to knock Carolina fans for being happy about their team's success. I'm not going to knock them because we were the same way, you know, and I feel like that would be, you know, hypocritical, you know what I'm saying, of me, because if the Saints was 3-0 as of right now, or, you know what I'm saying, I don't know what the score is. I'm pretty sure they winning or won the game, but I'll be the same way, you know what I'm saying? And this is a team that has not been 3-0 and I don't know how long, 2-0 and I don't know how long. And so I can't knock them for being happy, because if the shoe was on the other foot, I have that same type of optimism and happiness in my heart for my team. So and the thing about it is, you have to understand too, I mean, the Saints swept them last season, you know, like, and it's been a while since the Carolina Panthers beat the Saints. And when your team is getting beat, and you know what I'm saying, and you have a rivalry, or, you know, with another team, and that team is getting the best of your team, like, you're happy that they actually finally got off the snide, you know. So I'm not going to knock them for that. I would have the same type of optimism. I would have the same type of happiness, you know, if the Saints were going through the same situation. So I'm not going to knock them for that, King Arthur. Bradley Roby was a great pickup for our defense. Oh boy, going to shine in our secondary. Yeah, Kai, it's going to take a couple weeks, man. You know, I'm not going to knock him. I heard some people talking about, man, what he doing? Like, the dude just got here. You know, like, people would just expected, man, to go down, lock down half the field, don't know the defensive concepts, don't have like no type of communication, you know, or no type of cohesiveness with the rest of the guys in the secondary. I expect for that group to get better as time go on. You know, they'll be able to communicate better once those guys develop some chemistry. So I'm just happy that he's here, and I think that is you know, he has some good games ahead of him. Bucks had a 4-game win streak with Winston in 2019 before Mike Evans and Chris Godwin got hurt. Just saying. The Bucks had a 4-game winning streak, but let's put that into context. In 2019, I want to say, nah, that's 2018. You're right. You know what I'm saying? They did have a winning streak. I think I was thinking about, was that the year that Jameis Winston got suspended, but he got suspended in 2018, you know, at the beginning of the season. And Ryan Fitzpatrick actually started. And I think Ryan Fitzpatrick won like 3 games in a row or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but yeah. Who that 1992, as long as the player is on the team, we want them to succeed. It wouldn't make sense to want a team member to do bad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I'm not rooting for anybody that's, you know what I'm saying, that's a part of the Saints team. Now, I give my honest opinion on this podcast, But I don't want to root for anybody, you know what I'm saying, to fail. You know, like that's just not me. You know what I'm saying? Like you can have your thoughts and your feelings about somebody, but at the end of the day, man, I don't want to be right about these situations. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk bad about this team. I don't want to talk bad about anybody. And you know, you only can play with the hand that you were dealt. So we know that Jameis Winston is the starting quarterback, and I just feel like people just need to get on board. You know what I'm saying? Roll with it. You know what I'm saying? Like until something happens to a point where the wheels just fall off of Sean Payton, just feel like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like this ain't working. We need to go in another direction. But to keep saying it and saying, oh man, he ain't the answer, he ain't the answer, like, man, you would want him to be the answer. You want this team to be successful. So I don't want to feel good about that. And I don't want to pinpoint and nitpick every little thing that he does wrong, because I don't feel like that's fair. You know, I don't feel like that's fair to anybody. You know, I just think that sometimes we have our thoughts and our feelings about a player, and we don't give those players opportunity to change their narrative. I would like to allow players to change the narrative of what I think about them. I go into a season with a clean slate, you know, unless you like a player just shows me like he just god awful and he just can't be helped. You know what I'm saying? Like I go into the season hoping that a guy develops, hoping that a guy plays better, hope that the game slows down for him, transitioning from rookie year to the second year. You know, I go into the season with that type of optimism until a player shows me otherwise. But I'm not going to go there, you know what I'm saying, and already have my judgment based on what I see in this player do or a mistake they made 2 years ago. I'm not going to do that, because you're doing yourself a disservice as a fan, and you're doing yourself a disservice of really watching a player develop and grow and be beneficial. Like that's what I don't understand. I don't understand like people still getting on Marcus Williams about the Minneapolis Miracle. Like this dude is just so far removed from that. Like this dude is like one of the best safeties in football. Like if people like really start to appreciate like Marcus Williams, like people probably don't even realize this guy's had a interception in you know what I'm saying, every week one game for the last 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like this dude, like, you know what I'm saying, covering about 20 yards of field, coming across the field to catch an interception. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a guy that you can really count on. Oh, he can't tackle. That's the narrative. But last year, you know what I'm saying, he had his best year as a tackler. So I just feel like when you come into a season with these type of narratives about a guy, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice. And you may want the team to move on. And you may want the team to try to find somebody else to take their place. But if that player becomes better, they develop and become a, you know what I'm saying, a viable asset to the team, you know, why try to, you know, continue that narrative that they had 2 years ago, or talking about that play that happened 3 years ago? Like, let's move on from that. Marco says, man, you're on point, TJ. I appreciate that, Marco. I appreciate that. And people saying Taysom Hill can't read a defense. Go look at his stats. Not bad for a guy that can't read a defense. Look, man, like I just feel like, you know, who that 1992. I'm just being honest with you. I just feel like you want Taysom Hill to be the quarterback over Jameis. So any opportunity, you know, to, you know, put Taysom up here and put Jameis down here, you want to do it. But that's not the reality, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Jameis Winston is the quarterback. He's going to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future. And if Taysom Hill was the answer, then Sean would have made him the starting quarterback. I mean, look, it's about winning. You know what I'm saying? It's not about picks and chooses. It's not about favoritism. It's not about that. And for all those people out there, they're just talking about, man, Sean didn't want Taysom and Sean didn't, you know what I'm saying, he didn't want Taysom. He wanted Jameis. That's why Jameis came back. I want y'all to understand this fully, right? I want y'all to fully understand this. All right. Let's look at a couple years ago. All right. I'm going to take y'all back to the dark ages when the Saints drafted Stanley Jean-Baptiste as the cornerback out of Nebraska. This dude was a second round pick, right? Now, in most cases, 9 times out of 10, a coach, if a team drafts a player that early in a draft, they're going to put that player on the field. Like, regardless, they're going to make this player play. They're going to force him on the field. Like, man, we put our franchise in the hands of this guy. We drafted this guy. he needs to go out there and play. Sean didn't do that. Dude couldn't see the field because Sean realized that he wasn't good enough to be on the field. These guys are playing right now with undrafted free agents. Right now, right? So to me, Sean Payton has always gave guys the benefit of the doubt. He has always looked at these players and said, okay, whoever plays the best at this position, whoever goes out there and competes, win this competition, I am going to put them on the field. No matter if they're a third round pick, a fourth round pick, an undrafted free agent, you know what I'm saying, a free agent signing, right? That's just the way that it goes. I mean, that's just the way that it is, man. You know, so if Taysom beat out Jameis, I'm talking about emphatically, if he was doing all the right things and he was like really just killing the competition, Taysom would be the starting quarterback. He would. And also you have to think about this too, right? And I'm not, look, this is not a knock on Taysom. Do I think that Taysom, if he can, you know what I'm saying, if something was to happen to Jameis, knock on wood, can Taysom come in the game and help the Saints win some games? Absolutely. Do I feel like at times the Saints may play a team and Taysom's strength may be the offensive answer to the question? Absolutely. But Taysom has been on his team, about 4 years, right? You know what I'm saying? So he should understand like the playbook to a point where he should have been ahead of the game. And it should have been like Jameis playing catch up. What you need to be asking yourself is, how is it that he has all that information? How is it that he was in the room with Drew Brees all these years? I mean, on top of like being in all these other rooms, but yet you let somebody come off the street basically and take the job. Me personally, I just feel like Jameis beat him out. If he didn't, then he would be on the field. You know, I really believe that. Sean Payton is not going to put a guy on the field that he feels like he's not going to be able to win with. I never seen him do that. Allen Iverson, thank you very much for the $2. Says the Saints need practice, not the game. We talking about practice. I'm gonna read some of these donations and then we'll I'll go back to the comments. I want to make sure I read the donations and thank y'all for the people that donate to the State of the Saints podcast. Making the podcast what it is. Everybody that's in the chat, thank y'all. Keen Arthur, once again, thank you very much for the $5. Says, man, who that nation missed me with the if you a real fan talk. Just because you hold your team and players accountable don't mean you're not a fan. I agree with that, man. You know, like some people put their fandom in this little glass and, you know what I'm saying, they protect this glass and they feel like if you know what I'm saying, like do anything or say anything about the team, then you're not a real fan. No, you know what I'm saying? I say this all the time, you know, if you're married or you're in a relationship and your significant other isn't up to, you know what I'm saying, not doing the things that you feel like they could do to make things better, rather it's communication, rather it's doing the little things, right? You're going to bring it to their attention, and you're bringing it to their attention because you feel like this particular situation can get better. It's not the fact that you feel like they're a horrible person or the fact that you don't love them or appreciate them or value them. It's just the fact that you want some improvement to happen. And, you know, we talk about this kind of stuff and we go back and forth. And I'm not saying that we have all the answers, but at the same time, we give our opinion what we feel this team needs to do in order for them to improve. But that doesn't mean that we dislike a player or any less of a fan. And I don't understand that, you know. I'm critical of things that I love. You know what I'm saying? Like people, you know what I'm saying? Like I would talk about my college, Jackson State, if they're not playing well or they do something. You know, like I mean, I love my school, you know what I'm saying? Give to my school. You know, I mean, but at the same time, if they're doing something that, you know, doesn't make me happy, I'm going to say something about it. And I don't think that your fandom should be tied down to, you know, your opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have an opinion, you feel like it needs to be said, why not? You know, it just shows you that you care, in my opinion. I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for the $2. Says Bucks can't beat the Saints without Giannis. Wrong sport. But let's see. Alfred, thank you very much for $4.99. Says, you know, Sean don't like boneheaded decisions. So how many you think Jameis have left before Sean says, nah, this not it? Uh, it all depends, man. I think that it's a matter of improvement. If you're going out there making the same mistakes over and over again, I just feel like he probably gonna lose his patience. Sean Payton is a patient coach, man. It's contrary to popular belief, we just never seen his patience at the quarterback position. Like, for example, how many times have we seen Garrett Hartley like miss an easy field goal? You know what I'm saying? To show it, and we thinking that Sean gonna cut him or whatever. But here come Garrett Hartley, you know what I'm saying, parading him back out there. You know, like think about this, right? Garrett Hartley had opportunity to kick an extra point in order for the Saints, you know what I'm saying, to win, you know what I'm saying, or get a lead over Tampa, and he missed it, right? Now, what if Sean would have had a knee-jerk reaction and said, man, let me, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna cut this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kid ain't got it. He won, you know what I'm saying? Garrett Hartley went on to kick a 40-yard field goal, put the Saints in the Super Bowl. And then he made, you know what I'm saying, some long field goals to keep the Saints in the Super Bowl. So sometimes, you know what I'm saying, it's not good to have this knee-jerk reaction. So Sean Payton has like patience with guys, but the thing about it is he wants to see improvement. He wants to see a guy improve. Like if we're watching tape, right? And I'm seeing you, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, okay, man, what you should have did. And you're telling me, you're telling me what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? We're on the same page when we're having these conversations, and then you go out there and do the same thing. That's why I feel like his patience is probably going to wear thin. But if as long as he shows improvement, as long as he is not making the same mistakes or he's pushing towards not doing the same thing again, I think that Sean will, you know, be patient with him. But, you know, I just think that, you know, I just think that it's going, you know, it's a process, man. It's a process. Simply Tasha, thank you very much for $2. Say who that to you, TJ, and the Saints Nation. Thank you, Tasha. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the $2. I appreciate that. JL says the only way Jameis and the rest of the team can go is up, point blank, period. Yeah, end of it. Yeah, I believe it. You know, I mean, it's just been 2 games, man. But people just feel like, you know, the sky is falling. You know, like, man, teams lose. Saints lost week 2 last year. You know what I'm saying? Like they lost by 10 points, but that game could have easily been out of control against the Raiders. Like it could have easily been out of control. Like people thought, oh, they only won by 10, but nah, that game, that was a lot of garbage time stuff going down, you know what I'm saying, against the Raiders. So, you know, Saints all like if you look at the history of the Saints, they always start off slow. Like, but it's just like it's amplified now because Jameis the quarterback. Shout out to TJ. Saints just need to play Saints football, and we'll worry about the rest come playoff time. Got to make the playoffs first. Carolina lost Kristen and Horn tonight. Well, that's not good. What happened to JC Horn? That's not a good thing. I ain't happy to hear that. That kid can play, man. So sorry to hear that. I don't want to see no player get hurt, man. I'm serious. I don't want to see no player get hurt. Rival, you know what I'm saying, rival team or not. You know what I'm saying? All these guys are pros, they professionals, and they just trying to take care of their families. Like, despite us liking them or not. I know way more about football than you, I promise you. I don't know if you're talking about somebody in the chat, but I don't think it should be about that, man. Shouldn't be about that. We should never wear our emotions on our sleeve to a point where we have to resort to that type of stuff right there, man. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? Like, be comfortable, you know what I'm saying, in your takes, and roll with it. You know what I'm saying? But also understand that people going to have a difference of opinion than you. It don't, you know, it's not about, oh, I'm right and I'm wrong, because at the end of the day, it's all opinion. You know, this is all opinion. Like, I do this podcast, been doing this podcast for 4 seasons. This is all opinion. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, I come on here, have some guys, you know what I'm saying, that's familiar with the team, come on here and talk about some stuff that they heard. But all of this stuff is just based on our opinion and what we actually see. So we should never just be to a point where we can't take criticism. You know what I'm saying? We can't take people's feelings and thoughts into, consideration. But also, you know what I'm saying, just be confident within yourself. You know, but don't ever just be to a point where, you know, you feel like you have to prove something to somebody. You know, it's obvious you know football. It's obvious, you know what I'm saying, you love the Saints, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, that you're here. You know, we all love the Saints. We all want to see this team successful. We all want to see this team hoist another Lombardi. We all want to see the Saints be one of the best teams in the league and be, you know, and be competitive game after game. That's why we're all here. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why this channel, you know what I'm saying, is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because of our love and our passion. But don't ever just feel like you have to get to a point where you have to prove yourself to anybody. If you love the team and the way that you feel about a certain player or a certain way that the team is going, that's fine. You know, everybody's not going to agree, you know, but that's what makes us all special, you know, that we all have different opinions on things. But you take those different opinions and you take them into consideration. Now you have food for thought, right? Tyrone says that's not on him. The offense just didn't show up. The whole needed trickery with Hill. We have too many quarterbacks not to. Yeah, you know, Tyrone, I don't understand that. You know, I just think that Sean Payton is going to have to bite the bullet and realize that you're going to need Taysom. You know what I'm saying? You're going to need Taysom right now because the offense isn't really doing anything. They're not moving. You know, plays aren't being made on the outside when it comes to the receivers. So you got to be innovative. Got to be innovative. And I think that it starts with Deontay Harris and Taysom Hill. You got to get them involved. You got to get them involved. Camilla says, listening to the media, the Saints need a new quarterback one moment. The next, they're going to fall off the face of the planet without Drew. That's not the attitude of New Orleans, let alone the football team. Well, if they have that type of attitude, they don't need to be playing. They have that type of attitude, maybe they need a new coaching staff. Look, man, a lot of these shows that we watch on TV is about entertainment, right? It's about entertainment. It's about having narratives that travel. It's about being talked about on social media. You know, for example, you know what I'm saying, like somebody that's casual with sports, you know, probably don't know who Nick Wright is. Probably don't know who Chris Broussard is, Skip Bayless, Marcus Spears, Stephen A. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's for you to be able to carry that narrative into the chats, to the tweets, to the post on social media to get these guys the attention that they seek. And also it's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody watches these shows to see guys behind the desk and talk like Pat Summerall. May God bless his soul. God, you know what I'm saying? God bless his soul. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody expecting anybody to do this. They want them to be animated. You know, the hotter the take, the better. You know what I'm saying? The more, you know what I'm saying, zany and outrageous that they sound, you know what I'm saying, the more entertaining that they are. It's all about ratings at the end of the day. So, look, that's what those guys are there for. You know what I'm saying? The Monday morning quarterback. That's what they're there for. That's their lane. Me, I understand the game. I understand how it works. I understand about the power of speech. I understand about the power of persuasion. I understand how people can say certain things, write certain things in order for people to feel a certain way. I understand that there are people out there that have certain takes for nefarious reasons. They know the power that they possess. They know the following that they have. You know what I'm saying? They know if they have a cult-like following, people that lean on their every word. And because those people lean on their every word, they're going to take what they say as gospel and not looking at it like, it's opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the news that we watch, a lot of the sports takes that we listen to, all this is just basically opinion pieces. You know what I'm saying? It's not really wrapped around facts. It's not really wrapped around anything that's like, you know what I'm saying, like concrete. It's just a bunch of guys talking about how they feel. And they're doing it in a way that, you know, and delivering it in a way with such confidence that people just feel like, or they really believe what they're saying, or they really think they're right. You know, this is just about generating emotion, man. And once you understand that, the better you'll feel about it. You know, and I sometimes, you know, I feel I wish I can just watch certain things like how other people do, but just, you know, like just some of the stuff that, man, people like, okay, if you go to school and you major in something, right, and you spend countless hours learning about that particular discipline, it's like once you get out here into the field and you start seeing things that's relatable to your discipline, you look at it like a completely different way. It's like when I watch shows, watch movies and stuff like that. Like, I wish I could just watch movies like other people do, but because I'm minoring in theater, I have a tendency of looking at like movies like with the script, the delivery, the plot, and I find myself like at the end like not enjoying the process. And I feel the same way when it comes to communication because I know what these people are doing. I know what they're trying to incite in the masses. And as soon as as quick as you realize that, the better. You know, it's just like the situation. I mean, it's relatable, man. I mean, it's New Orleans. It's like with Zion Williamson. I wrote this on Twitter. Those that don't follow me on Twitter, follow me at TJ Jones 8, TJAY Jones 8. But I wrote this on Twitter. There's this situation saying that Zion was frustrated with GM David Griffin about when he was a rookie and them kind of load managing him and didn't want him to play, and he had issues with the medical staff. And you had like these different mainstream outlets reporting this. One in particular is Clutch Sports. So they reported this, right? But I just feel like they're just trying to, just put the little seeds out there because they look at a player like Zion, who they feel like is up next. LeBron is on his way out. Zion is on his way in, and they're looking at him as, being that face. And it's almost like the same thing when LeBron got drafted to Cleveland. Cleveland was a small market, not really known for winning, not a place that people love as just a destination place like a Miami or LA. So what they do is they put these stories out here and they understand the power of influence that they have. A person that actually follows Zion is probably a Pelicans fan, read that, become frustrated and mad at, Zion or whatever like that, or mad at the organization. Somebody said, well, why don't Zion come out there and say something? It's because that's exactly what the media wants them to do, in my opinion. Because regardless, if Zion goes out there and says, man, this article, I think it was a little bit far-fetched, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't true. You're still going to have people out there that are going to feel, man, he ain't really telling the truth. He probably don't want to be here. And if he don't want to be here, he can leave. So when you start to hear stuff like that and it's not your real opinion, you start to become frustrated. You come frustrated, mad at the fan base mad at you because they feel like you don't want to be here. You get mad as a player because you feel like the fan base don't want you to be here. And then the next thing you know, you got talking heads on First Take and you got talking heads on Undisputed talking about Zion not happy in New Orleans. What's a good place and good team that he can go to? And they start putting different scenarios out there, hoping that the agents of these particular players that are good are listening, or that player is listening on their own. And then the next thing you know, you have a small market team losing their star player. That's why I got a lot of respect for people like Giannis, who stays with a smaller market in Milwaukee and puts together a championship team, So that's the way I feel like they do. They understand the power that they possess. They understand the power that they possess. They understand, that they can get people to react in certain ways, and they use it to their advantage. They use it to their advantage as leverage when they're negotiating their new contracts. They use it to push the narrative that they want to be pushed, and they do that in order to elevate themselves as a popular figure. So there you go. That's the mystery to the madness, ladies and gentlemen. Just stay woke. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Kim says, no lie, I'll come listen to a Saints podcast before ESPN. The podcast study the team and going to deliver facts. The media, not so many facts. Well, that is true, Kim. It's best for you to follow people that have an emotional investment, that follow the team consistently. When you're talking about podcasts, because there's a lot of lazy takes. There's a lot of things that go on in television that people aren't aware of. The interns, the talking in the ear, the producers, the analytical people that's behind the mics, and people in the production rooms to make those guys sound like they got a Harvard education when it comes to the sports. It's a lot of things that go on. But I just feel like there's a lot of people out there that just have these lazy takes. And, they don't really follow the team. They really don't have a passion for it. And when you're just doing a whole bunch of segments every single day, you probably don't even remember what you said. And I just feel like, there's nothing authentic about that. No authenticity about that. That's why I have a lot of respect for people that are passionate about what they actually are talking about. So when you have like Saints podcasters out there, they get behind the mic, they study the game, they break it down, like Deuce Winham, Ross, what I'm saying, CB, like, what I'm saying, take the time out in order for them to, what I'm saying, dissect the game. Nick, my guy, Jeff Nowak, like they break down the game. They spend countless hours writing articles, looking at the X's and O's, what went wrong, and they want to present it to you. And they take a lot of pride in that. And but you have those other people out here that are just trying to do things just to, just to create a dollar. Trying to get, and there ain't nothing wrong with that, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, if you're good at what you do, make money, get money, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, man. I just have a problem with people doing things for nefarious reasons. I think that you should have a level of love for what you do. You should have it. If you don't, then it's a problem. Hoodie Jupe, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says facts, man. That's why you follow and listen to people like UTJ and Big Q and Nola Bros, BNG Breakdown, etc. And also with you, Hoodie Tube, don't sell yourself short, man. You do a really good job over there, man. And congratulations to you starting the podcast. And but that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. People loving what they do, being passionate behind, having passion behind it, and not just, blowing smoke up people behind, to get a quick money grab. Hopefully we can get some pressure on Patriots quarterback and force some turnovers. Yeah, I mean, look, you got to be able to get some pressure on Mac Jones. You're going to have to get some pressure on him. But, I think the Saints are going to play much better this week than they did last week. I really do. I think that you're going to see – I feel like they got a much better chance winning this game than they did last week. You know what I'm saying? If I didn't, if they didn't play Carolina and they, you know what I'm saying, like, and I'm just assuming, they have a better chance of beating New England than they did Carolina. Carolina right now, you know what I'm saying, they flying high. Ghostface, I used to have friends that would laugh when they saw a player get a bad injury. I'm like, what's funny about that? Yeah, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. I ain't feeling that. I ain't feeling that, man. I don't care who they play for. I don't want to see nobody get hurt. Nobody. If you just tuned in, hit the like button is waiting for you. Yeah, I agree. If you enjoy the show, hit the like button. I appreciate that. Gigatus says, that's right, TJ. You appreciate the cinematography, the editing, the writing, etc. Yeah, like when you're into something, when you're into a discipline, if you like major in business, right? If you're gonna appreciate the business aspect of, starting a business, how to create a business, how to create a portfolio, constructing your business and making it what it is, you're gonna enjoy those little things. And also all that knowledge that you have, is always gonna be drilled inside of you. I don't care where I go. I'm always gonna, remember those things that were taught to me. 52, we can do better than who that, fam. Yeah, I mean, look, if you like the show, if you enjoy the show, just go ahead and hit the thumbs up, man. My wife has an MBA, and when we're out eating, she's calculated what might be operation costs of a business and what improvements can be done. Yeah, tragic. Look, my wife is kind of, well, my wife is like real knowledgeable about, different medical stuff. Like she don't, like if she's out or something like that, and I don't know, somebody dealing with something, like she ain't the person that be like, oh, I'll take care of it. My wife can turn it on and off, like it ain't nothing. Like I admire her, like how she's at work. When she's at work, she's dialed in. When she get home, like she's mom, she's wife, but like she's one of the smartest people I know. You ask anything about, the medical field, or like, if you're taking like certain medicine or something like that, you're like, oh, don't mix that with this, or be careful with that. You can't help it. It's just a part of you. It's just a part of you. They've been wanting Zion to leave. Absolutely. You know what it is, Jamal. I was in an episode of Treme. There was a scene when Melissa Leo came up to me and asked me if I wanted a drink. I said I don't drink, and the director yelled, "Cut." I ain't know she was acting. Yeah, look, man, they got some people out there, man, that are natural actors, man. You know, like they're so good. You know, they're so good at what they do. You know, absolutely. Seems like they are really predictable right now. As long as secondary lock up our current receivers and pressure J Dub, we are in trouble. Yeah, you know, but that's why you need somebody like Michael Thomas to come back, and that's why you need Sean Payton to really get in his bag. Like you got to really get he really got to get in his bag. That's the only way. That's the only way they're gonna get out of this situation. This guy, like, that's why I say it at the beginning of the season. Like this might be, you know what I'm saying, Sean Payton's best coaching job as a Saints coach. And I feel like if the Saints make the playoffs, I mean, he's gonna be in running for the coach of the year. Earlier, you mentioned we need 4 or 5 wins to change Jameis' narrative. How many losses until the team narrative changes, though? You know what, Tyler? That's a good question, and I wish I had an answer for you. But I just think that it depends on how he approaches the game. Like learning from your mistakes. If you continuously make the same mistakes over and over again after in film sessions, you're acknowledging the mistakes. The coach is telling you about the mistakes, they're telling you what not to do, and you're continuously doing it. And the team is continuously being ineffective with you as the quarterback. It's going to be time to make a change. But you have to make sure that you're doing the right things, and you have to be careful that you don't lose the locker room by the decisions that you make. Okay, that you have to be careful with that. Guys have got to look into the eyes of the signal caller and believe that they can win with you. So, you know, he has to go out there and he has to not make the same mistake over and over again. It's probably someone in TJ's own house, like one of his brothers screwing around or something. What's going on here? I don't even know. I don't even know what you talk about on that one, Jay. Let's see. Them some dogs on that Carolina defense. They had Davis Mills dizzy all night. Yeah, I mean it is helpful when you don't have to go up against Deshaun Watson. You got to go up against Davis Mills. So yeah. Like I mentioned, I know. A chess match. Damien, you always at one or the other. Peyton Turner and Adebo legit. Yeah, they playing pretty good right now. Ernest says TJ awesome. Yeah, genius brainiacs. Hoodie Juice says I'm going to give the Panthers their credit, but the media and the Panthers fans need to calm down, beat the Jets, Texans, and injured Saints now to slow their rolls. But again, congrats to the Panthers of 3-0. Look, you play the games that's in front of you. It's just as simple as that. You play the teams that's in front of you. It's not their fault that they're playing these teams. It's not their fault, and it's not their fault that they're catching teams at certain times. I mean, the Saints without offensive staff, offensive line, you know what I'm saying, had to get shift around. All the situation going on with Deshaun Watson. I mean, my dude, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it ain't their fault, you know what I'm saying? Like they winning. So you win and let other people make excuses. Because like I said, I don't care. I mean, did we care that the Denver Broncos was playing without quarterback and they had a wide receiver playing quarterback when the Saints played them? Nope. But we took that dub, didn't we? And we appreciated it too, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we appreciated it. So did we care that at the time when we played Atlanta, Julio Jones was hurt with a hamstring injury? No, we did not. But we took that dub, didn't we? So would be really funny if it turned out to be one of the Saints like Marcus Colston doing it because he's bored from retirement. Oh man. Let's see, TJ. That's right. We know how to turn it on and off. Get used to it when you're a mom day job, home job. Yeah, man. I mean, that's just the way that she is. I can't do it though. I can't turn like work on and off. Like I'm constantly like trying to find something to do. I can't do it. I mean, when when she here, like she dialed in. I haven't reached that point just yet. Let's see. Lightscar says, my wife is a clinical psychologist. Let's see. I don't argue with her because who in the hell has time for that? Look, man. Yeah. That's a smart move, my friend. Hey, TJ. Everyone needs to just turn these mainstream media people like Steven, Joyce, Jefferson, Dad Orlovsky off because they don't know our team. They just read it from a teleprompter. Yeah. Look, man, they're entertainers. They're entertainers, and they entertain a lot of people. That's the reason why they're on television. But I want they ain't my go-to guys for Saints information. I agree with what you said, TJ. Is people that don't want him to have success. So when he don't have a good game, they're gonna pounce. Absolutely, man. That's human nature, though. If we want to be proven right, we want to be right. I mean, it is what it is. Like, we want to be right. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we give our take and, we like, okay, man, I want this to happen. And it happens, you're like, man, yeah, look at me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a profit off in this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you the prop. You want props. So when people have a chance to say, man, he ain't it, and he go out there and he ain't playing and he don't do well, and they want to feel like they right. But me, I'm going to reserve my judgment, man. And I hope that he does play well. I hope Dak exposed the Panthers defense. Well, Dak Prescott playing on another level right now, and I'm happy for him, man. That gruesome injury last year, him coming back and playing as well as he is, man, I'm happy for Dak. Is there a way Davenport, Turner, and Jordan can be on the field at the same time when Davenport is back healthy? Maybe move Turner inside. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Peyton Turner played both outside and inside when he was at Houston. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Ghostface, thank you very much for $5. Says, TJ, we talking about the mystery of I be ripping them. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I don't know who I be ripping them is. I still haven't solved that. I still haven't solved that mystery, man. So I'm not sure who that is. Let's see. I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for $2. Says, I'll solve the mystery. Is me chemo. If I can bet who I feel like I'll be ripping them it's two people. I would say it's Chosen or Josh. You know what I'm saying? I think it's either or. Because I feel like this, like both of them are like everybody has their little, wittiness, but Josh and Chosen are like extremely witty, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're like really knowledgeable about certain things, and they have like a certain type of they just have a certain type of delivery, man. And I be ripping them's like delivery is kind of relatable to those guys. So I don't know if it's them or not, but he just kind of the delivery reminds me of Chosen. And also, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if Chosen here or not, but I always, I never really see Chosen when I be ripping them chatting. I'm just being real. So I don't know, but that's my guess. I could be wrong. I could be way out in left field, but I'm a high school senior this year, and I wish that I can give, but everything I earned is towards tuition. When school is tiresome, this really is the tranquility and break needed the morning and nighttime shows. Yeah, look, I appreciate people for donating. Don't get me wrong, but you don't have to donate. Like, don't feel like you obligated to do that. Please don't. I appreciate everybody, for their comments. You can be doing so many other things with your time. So sometimes I won't get opportunity to read everybody's comments the way that the chat is going. But I appreciate everybody's comments and everybody taking the time out to, show some love, man. I appreciate that. And I'm glad that, that you appreciate the show, and congratulations to you, being a high school senior. It's a great moment, man. I remember, graduating from high school back in the day, and it's a great rite of passage, I think we will see Green Bay again. Let that sink in. Well, Green Bay got to get some better defense. TJ, when the Saints are fully healthy, they will have that Ric Flair swagger. Woo! Well, I hope they have that Ric Flair swagger and not that Ric Flair stagger for those that know what's going on with wrestling right now with the plane ride from hell. Some of y'all know I'm talking about. Some of y'all probably lost. You can contribute by being here, listening, and smashing that like button. For real. The money gonna come. Just keep up the good work in school. Yeah, for real. For real. Just, I'm just, like I said, I'm just glad that you're here. ATJ got a message this week from me on Instagram. Let me see. I'm not sure. I haven't really checked Instagram this week, man. I've been on social media, but not as much this week. Just been kind of, I've been working, doing some stuff station wise this week, so haven't really been doing that. If you ain't rolling with Jameis Winston and the New Orleans Saints, you're nothing. All right, Jerry Lewis right there. Josh said, dang, TJ, you brought me into this and got I.B. Rippin impersonating me. I don't know. Like I said, man, I'm just saying it based on like wittiness. You know what I'm saying? Like, and like your comedic timing. Like, it's kind of similar to that. So, like I said, I could be wrong, but like I said, if I was betting, it would be like one of you two. I'm sorry, but that's kind of similar. If the Saints come out Sunday and ruin my parlay with a loss, this is the start of my villain origin story. Well, hopefully we won't get to that point, man. Hopefully you don't go turn into a bad guy. Ramsey says, hey, TJ, if nobody has told you yet, but I like your background, I need that on my wall. Well, man, I mean, this is a green screen behind me. That's all it is, man. I mean, I just find pictures and project it off behind me. So it's not a poster or anything like that. It's just a green screen. So why haven't we replaced PJ Williams after all these years? Look, PJ Williams, the least of the Saints' problems right now. And I think since they lined him up at safety, he's been doing a pretty good job. And honestly, like if you think about some of the issues that's going on with the Saints, PJ Williams' name would be at the bottom of the list. I think that the Saints did the right thing by putting them at the safety position and keeping them in the nickel position. And it's kind of helped his career. Hey, TJ, what's the deal with the State of the Game podcast? The State of the Game podcast was a concept that I had, and I was going to be talking about, different sports and all that kind of stuff. But then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, when you have like these contractual deals with like different media networks and stuff like that, you have your mind focused on one thing, but then, when, these type of companies and stuff like that, they start investing in you, don't really have time to do that. So that's one of the main reasons why. It's something that I wanted to do. I feel like, it's something that, I'll probably get around to, but like I signed with Amaze Media Lab. I signed a deal with them. So a lot of my time is really focused on the State of the Saints because because of the whole media deal. But I mean, it's something that I really like, really care about. Something that I plan on focusing on in the future. But my focus right now mainly is the State of the Saints podcast, and I probably just do a little something on Swag Football, a little clip, 10-minute clip about some games, with that. But for the most part, man, I'm here as the host of the State of the Saints podcast. But that, I mean, the State of the Game was something I was going to start out before. So, but signed with Amaze Media Labs and happy to be with them with the Pigskin Podcast Network and just trying to help that, that new media group grow and do my part. Reginald says rookie quarterback, D licking their chops. Jones will make mistakes. Well, we all know that the Saints every now and then have a tendency of making rookie quarterbacks look like the second coming to Joe Montana. I'll never forget that game where RG3 played the Saints in week 1. It tore them boys up. TJ, is Coach Prime going to get that USC job? No, he's not. I don't see that happening. I think that, you got your son, you pull your son out of South Carolina, you pull your son out of a scholarship for Florida Atlantic. I mean, I think he's going to be with them at least 2 years. I think he's going to get at least 2 years, at least till Shedeur Sanders gone, and I think that's probably where he's going to leave. If the rookies keep balling out, and if Davenport signs a team-friendly deal, I can see us releasing Cam Jordan if he doesn't retire first. He needs a big year. Who that? Yeah, man, that's something there's a conversation I ain't ready to have, man. I love Cam Jordan. So I I'm you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna lie to you. There's one person, you know what I'm saying, like that one person, man. It's gonna take a lot for me to. It's gonna be a tough conversation to have, man. If I continue to see what I've been seeing, Prime wants the Florida State job. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I look, I know what's going on, man, but I gotta keep that to myself, man. I promise a good friend of mine. I promise a good friend of mine wasn't saying anything. So I look, he ain't going nowhere. I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that. He there for a while. And Fate Base says, I love Cam. He's my guy. If I guess right, will you tell me? Well, I guess that y'all talking about something else. Cam Jordan still on milk coating because he's missing. Yeah, man. And finally, Josh says, I don't think it's the State of the Saints or a regular commentator. That was a guy on Deuce's show that did all kinds of jokery. I think it's him. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know who it is, man. I'm not sure. I was just guessing. I want to end it with a Saints question. I'm gonna end it with a Saints question. I'll end it with Slim South here. He says, if Lattimore is back, who starts a Debo or Roby? I'm gonna say a Debo starts. You put Roby. I think you're gonna put Roby in a nickel. So I think you're gonna have a Debo on outside, Roby in a nickel, and also have Roby rotate. You know what I'm saying? Doing, when it comes to with depth. But I will put Roby on the inside at the nickel. I'll put him at the nickel. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate that. Appreciate your time. Much love to everybody. And make sure that you hit that like button on your way out. Thank you to the fine folks at manscaped.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you for everybody that has been ordering Manscaped products. I really do appreciate that. And if you have not already, go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word, State of Saints. And also previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Check out the Facebook page of the State of the Saints podcast, facebook.com, The State of the Saints. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, please do so. I would really appreciate that. We're on our way to 7,000 subscribers, man. We were about 120. Yeah, we're about 120 subscribers away from 7,000 subscribers, man. So excited about that. The show is continuing to grow, continuing to get sponsors, getting different people on the show. Tomorrow we have a special guest. Some of you probably know him, Derek Augustine, fellow New Orleanian like myself. He plays the role of Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali on the show Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker. He also, man, is the voice of, if you play NBA 2K, he's the voice of the My Player on the game. So when you design your My Player, he's the guy that voice that your player has, believe it or not. But Derek Augustine is going to be on the show tomorrow. Looking forward to talk to him about some of his projects he has, as well as some Saints football. So looking forward to that. Next week on the State of the Saints podcast, we're going to have Mike Detillier on the show on this coming Tuesday. And also we're going to have some more guests on the show. I'm probably going to get one more guest on the show this week. So keep it locked to the State of the Saints podcast. Also, man, for those that may not know, every other, not this Friday, not tomorrow, or today rather, because I'm doing this show at it's about midnight here in South Carolina. But every other Friday, I'm on 103.7 The Game with RP3, Raymond Parks III. I do a segment on the show at 8:30 Central Standard Time, talking Saints football. So check it out, man. Shouts out to RP3. Does a really good job, really good show out there in Lafayette, Louisiana. 103.7 The Game. Good friend of mine, you know what I'm saying? Fun guy. Some of y'all probably seen him on the show before. So y'all check it out, man. 103.7 The Game. And also there's a free giveaway going on right now on the Pigskin Podcast Network. If you follow the Pigskin Podcast Network on Twitter, you'll enter into a contest where you can actually win a jersey of your choice. So if you're not a Saints fan and you're checking out the State of the Saints podcast, if you follow the Pigskin Podcast Network, retweet the tweet about the jersey, you'll enter a chance to win. And it's legit, man. It's not a lie. You know what I'm saying? We talked about these things. And so, go ahead and follow, the Pigskin Podcast Network for your chance to win a jersey. And also we're going to have some giveaways continuing. We're going to be giving away some T-shirts, some gifts from Manscaped during the post-game show of the State of the Saints podcast. So much love to everybody. Hope everybody has a good morning, noon, night, whenever you're checking out this podcast. And like always, all I got to say is, who that?